Hello. Hello, welcome. I'll get started in just a moment. Hello, everybody. So, for anybody new here, this is Dead Serious Investigations. I am your host and lead investigator for the paranormal and Dead Serious Investigations. I also study the occult. I am a demonologist, study ufology, and I also research and study much more. We'll be covering those topics in just a moment. Right now, we're waiting for a friend of mine to join us. He'll be sending a request shortly. Hello. Okay, here we go.
Hi, Duran.
Boom, there you are. What's up, Ryan?
Yeah, I'm
How
here.
are you?
I'm doing well, not too bad.
Good to see you, dude.
Yeah, good to see you too.
So, for anybody that is new, Ryan, would you like to introduce yourself to the viewers?
Yeah, my name is Ryan, and I'm also a paranormal investigator, and my name is Live on Souls Paranormal. And thank you for coming in and joining up with Duran and me as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah.
I have to ask you something for us to get started.
Mhm.
Have you experienced anything unusual since the last live segment? I had.
Oh, mate, you got it right. Well, yes, because with however the time unusual experiences was, but this isn't really experience, but one, my girlfriend, she has witnessed me do this when I was asleep. And I didn't know what was going on, and she woke me up. Not woke me up, but shook me to stop me. And I was like saying satanic verses, but I don't know any of the satanic cults at the time, and I didn't know about the satanic things, and it went straight from my mouth while I was asleep. I don't know what that was. Is it a demon of some sort, or a possession, or?
Whoa.
Mhm.
When was this?
This was 3 years ago.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
3 days
I forgot
ago?
to say about last week. Yeah, 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Mhm.
Now, was there anything else to follow up with that, or was that the
Not
only?
really. Not really. I'll discuss things privately with you sometime as well, like on Instagram private, because there's some things I don't want to, to introduce some like similar paranormal thing, but don't want to say it online.
Wow, dude, that's interesting.
Mm.
Sorry, it looks a little bit smoky in here. I
Okay,
just
it's a signal. It's
smudged
my
my.
signal as well. Mm.
Yeah, I was smudging my object and myself. So
Which is good.
yeah, because
Oh,
last time,
you
sorry,
speak. Sorry.
yeah, the last time we did our live segment, there was some moments where I forgot to document live on camera. I think it's because I got so caught up with the subject that we're on but I should have documented, but I'm going to let people know now. The last live segment, if you actually watch, there's moments where I get up. And when you're doing live segments around haunted objects that are haunted or possessed, you get a lot of this going on around you. And that could also distract and kind of fumble your words because things are trying to channel through you consciously.
Yeah.
So it could kind of interfere with your thoughts sometimes. And so, me getting a little fogged up on camera sometimes is going to happen when I'm surrounded by,
Yeah.
several haunted objects. Not like one I'm talking a whole shelf full, So, and not every object on here is proved to be haunted, but the ones that aren't tested to be haunted are still yet to be used as a trigger object. So there's still uses for them for paranormal research and stuff like that, just for experimental use.
Yeah.
So Ryan, there's an experience I want to talk about what I've gone through just recently, right? Basically a day, 24 hours following up after the live we did. So the experience is something that I've never experienced like this before. This was a demon attack. I woke up to be attacked. So, and Jean was attacked as well. She sent me pictures of bruises all over her legs. And she thinks that I got attacked by the same entity. And I'm not putting the blame on any particular entity, but if you add up the pattern, she was channeling with one of my objects named Angela. I'm pretty sure you remember that.
Especially, you should channel through objects like someone else's side. It's a very bad thing to do.
Yeah, so I think it brought attention, and she channeled so powerfully with this object that when she went to sleep, she actually channeled this being or this entity in this object, and having visions of, she was describing a large book with the goat with what looked like symbols on them, but she was able to translate. And the translation that she was able to remember said, "One is among us." She said that was all she remembered, and she apparently was attacked by this thing. And 2 mornings ago, 7:21 a.m., I was attacked in my bed. I was woken up out of a dream into a sleep paralysis. I haven't had sleep paralysis in a long time. And my right arm was being moved. I felt arms grabbing my arm. And I sleep with a fan by me. I like to have that constant sound because I live where it could get noisy sometimes at night. So there's a fan, and this fan is projecting another sound vibration of the room. Then so this makes sense for spirits to kind of speak through a fan wave or the sound wave
And bring us really to speak. Yeah.
Yeah, I started hearing what sounded like a demonic grunt and growl and laughing coming through the fan as my arm being squeezed and pulled, levitated, and then my right leg starts to get squoze and levitated, like it's trying to pull me out of my bed. With like a ton of arms and hands all over my legs and my arms. Then that feeling when you lose blood flow to your arm, that feeling, that flush. That's what my arm was feeling like, and my leg was feeling like that was being grabbed. As this is happening, it's getting louder. This laughter is getting louder. Have you ever seen the movie The Evil Dead?
Yes, I've
The
seen that film before. Yeah.
1980s film? The only way to describe what this being sounded like was one of those possessed victims on the Evil Dead movie. The way it laughed, the way it grunted, the way it was growling at me, it sounded just like that.
Yeah.
And it was being projected through the fan in my room. Following up through this experience, towards the end, I hear a calm male voice saying that you could fight this. And that voice broke through this demon. And it said this. And when I heard that, I got this really calm sensation. And then I closed my eyes and pictured a bright beam of light surrounding my body. When I did that, the experience terminated, and I started to be able to, win the fight. Like, I was no longer having to wrestle with this demon. Like, I was able to actually get control of my arms and my body, but my whole body was drenched in sweat. My house maintains a 72-degree temperature. I should not be drenched in sweat in that, nice, cool temperature in my apartment. Now, here's another interesting thing. Right after the experience, also my left eardrum pops and starts ringing this high-pitched ring. So,
That's very bizarre.
This happened to me several times just after a paranormal experience, especially when I hear something, I'll get that pop in my eardrum and ring. And then Jean told me that she was attacked when I told her that night, and I was like, whoa, like, you were attacked too, and she showed me all these bruises on my legs. And I was like, what? I was like, is it possible that me and Jean were attacked by the same entity?
Possibly, could be.
And maybe the entities in Angela were upset that she was able to find out or see what's in the object.
Yeah, I'd like to say something here as well. It's like, what do you think about black-eyed children? Because my girlfriend said to me, because she thinks they're aliens. Do you know black-eyed children? My girlfriend thinks they're aliens. Are they aliens or demons?
Aliens and demons. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know quite a few species of extraterrestrials and a lot of different types of demons. There's a lot of different types of demons. And I have books that have like over 1,000 types of demons. And I have multiple types of demonology, but demons are vast. So many demons. There's the ancient demons are of most information that I get about, but more uncommon demons are a little bit more harder to fish information from. And there's, like I said on the last live, with the rank with these demons, there's princes and kings and chiefs and all those, and queens, princesses, all those, right? So you got a commandership that they have all these other lesser demons, and in some ways, some of these lesser demons could be portrayed as like these dark ghoul-like ghosts, and you got goblins and all these types of things. That's where these mischievous type entities come from, are the ones that are under commandership from higher demons. Yeah, exactly. And so I think that some non-terrestrial or terrestrial biological entities that are highly negative also correspond to some of these demons and actually collaborate a force with demons, because they understand, they know about it, just as well as benevolent ETs and benevolent spirits. They work together.
Yeah, demons are actually like a thing, because I remember the other night, I felt in the bathroom, I walked into the bathroom, and it's like this electric thing in thin air, like this electric energy. of a ball of electric, and you walk straight through all the electric. Is that more like a demonic source?
Oh wow. You said
Yeah, because I felt that when I was walking in the bathroom. Yeah, I felt this demonic, like this energy form of electric and static altogether. And I walked through and I could feel it so big. I walked out to see if I could debunk it or anything, but I couldn't debunk it. I was like, okay.
it was like electric, you said?
Yes, and I felt it in thin
Like a
air.
ball?
Not a ball, like a normal like way an apparition goes, like that. And I felt like I walked into something inside it.
Oh wow. And you felt this energy?
I felt it completely, yeah.
Wow.
And it's very strong.
How long did this experience last?
It lasted for about 2 minutes, and that was it.
Oh,
2 minutes,
that's
yeah.
a that's actually a really rare experience to be able to have it last very long, because a lot of experiences that I experience, they're always at my peripheral vision, and the reason why this makes sense is because peripheral vision is technically a different line of sight and of spectrum than what your center eye vision is seeing. So there's a certain amount of layers of light that we're allowed to see, and our peripheral vision is technically different. That's why we see something and try to move our eyeballs over there and it's gone, and we're like, well, I just saw something, but I think I was just seeing dust, or I was just seeing things because I look over there and it's not there. But this is because your line of sight, your sight of spectrum that you're seeing is different when you're spot on in the center of your eyesight. It's a little bit hard to explain, but if you actually research it, there's a better way to explain it. And,
I tried doing a lot of research in that about that static energy thing, but I kept coming with silly skeptical things with, Hubble skepticism and it's like,
yeah,
and
when
so
it comes
the ghost can form it as well. So ghosts can form the static energy. They said it can form static.
yeah,
And because I didn't see it, I felt it because it was in the bathroom by the door frame, and I literally stood there, and it was there for about 2 minutes. And after that, I went, okay, see if I can debunk this, but I couldn't debunk it. I was going downstairs, check the electric boxes and all these things, but nope, nothing to debunk.
yeah,
Happened at night time as well, around about, say, around about 4-ish.
exactly. And Rebecca, you're right. It was hiding in your peripheral vision. Exactly. Like they use this as an advantage to hide.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you're right, Ryan. Like as soon as you get through an experience, the first thing you want to do is try to debunk, try to figure out an explanation of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And not just assume that it's paranormal right away, but actually look into what you experienced. And you'd be surprised if you actually take the time to try to do that. The experience is even more genuine. Then the chills really hit you when you find out that there is no explanation.
Exactly,
You
it's some of
know?
them. And you try to think, oh, can I sleep tonight, or should I stay awake, keep my eyes open, my ears open, so you can see any more, hear any more things going around me? Like sometimes I do that, like sit back and just see if I can see anything, or if I can hear anything, and I do hear a few things like taps, sometimes knocking. And if it's house expanding, I know noise compared to expanding noises and ghost noises, because no ghosts make two different sounds compared to expanding sounds.
Yeah, exactly.
I heard a few
Also,
footsteps as well and stuff as well, like footsteps. Someone you know them as well, like footsteps, the like high heels in the bedroom. She heard that too.
what? That would
Mm-hmm.
be that's freaky right there. Ideals.
But I'm recording EVP things anyway. I'm still recording stuff. And when I record, what I'm going to do is I'll write down on a piece of paper at the times, and when I'm fast asleep, go back on things in the day, listen back onto it, because it takes time, to listen back. Because you're recording all overnight till morning, you stop it and then listen back on it, and then write things down. If you hear anything, go back and forwards, see if it says anything, or the noise, movement, or something like that.
Right.
And I'll write them down, and I'll show you an EVP recorder when I have it all there, and go back and looking forward to it, and just look through it, and then play it back and keep going, writing things down. That's it.
Yeah, and when it comes to reviewing EVP, sometimes you'll miss stuff so easy, and you have to just kind of go back and review it several times. And then you're surprised. I I had one EVP recording that was 45 minutes long, and I went through it for whole like 3 months, and probably went through it like 90 different times. But I ended up finding I thought there was nothing on the EVP recorder for the first week, and then all this I would find something, then I was finding another thing, and another thing. I'm like, man, that's why I need to be careful and not just assume that I didn't find something, because there's some things that are hidden within conversations that investigators will have. Like I was telling you, like they do that sometimes purposely. Like, oh, wait till you start talking and then they'll talk.
Yeah,
They
it's pretty
try not to
interesting.
speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll try not to speak when you're quiet. It's interesting how that works. I like to play games with these.
Yeah, sorry about
So,
that. I'm just looking for set. But I ordered yours off the internet anyway, and I'll send them over to you through the post when yours come down, and I'll just send them off with the spray.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, because they're pretty good as well. The cat balls are brilliant because even if you find a normal cat toy, you know the ones that light up. You know the cat toys that light up, right? And you can put them
Yeah,
on
the
something.
light
You
up,
can force them
right?
to yeah. It's like these ones here. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, and that's
Yeah,
a little button.
I stuffed those like in one of these dolls, like put on them, like in their clothing or something.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
someone's, are we talking about Pam? We haven't got to that discussion just yet.
Mhm.
See, sorry, Ryan, just reading this comment real quick. So, sorry. Um, Let me back out of that. Okay, so Ryan, I was also thinking about breaking this out for a moment.
Oh, that's
Uh,
cool. That's good. Yeah, no problem. That's
so
good. That's
uh,
mhm.
I just want to get this running just to see if any entities here or nearby can tell me anything about any of the interesting things that have been occurring since the last live.
Oh, I'm saying how
Uh,
I'm gonna be 30 this year. Gonna be 30 because Ghost Bonio XO wants to know how about. I'm gonna be 30 this year on August 30th.
mm-hmm. Oh, okay. I think she's referring to me. It's definitely possible that um, I had someone like a guide or a spirit, my protector, trying to, get my attention and to let me know that I have it within me to actually fight it off. I haven't figured it out yet, and I think because over the course of time, I have actually been building a strong reputation and actually really understanding things more consciously, how to deal with attacks, and that really showed right there that that I'm building that intuition and I'm understanding these types of things, and deal with them on my own, and actually spread that knowledge with others, so that way they can do this too, and you know help raise the consciousness. So I'm gonna get this thing on. I don't really need to ask. The thing that I like about this is to set it and
I
forget.
love that because they're
Exactly.
real. Yeah, they're the real. They're better than the apps because apps are fake and those are real. Yeah.
As we discuss these topics, we don't need to ask it anything. It'll start giving us messages based on what we're
Mhm.
talking about. So it's going to listen to what we're talking about, and it's going to give us some clues, some answers. So we'll see what happens. Okay. Oh, it's going like crazy. Began, chain, stay, loss. Right off the bat, it's going up a lot. So began, chain. So a chain could be like kind of like a chain of messages or a chain of clues or something that has
Mhm.
to do with a chain of things that you just put together. So say blocks, sell. See some of the stuff. I may not understand what it's saying, but it could be using certain words that are close to what it's trying to say sometimes.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna let this go right over here. Um, so, someone just asked what this is. So this is the Ovilus 5 device. Um, it's seen a lot on paranormal shows like Ghost Adventures, and spirits will use environmental samplings to manipulate words into the device so that way they can communicate using it. And sometimes the words may not make sense until later on, but you kind of have to put the patterns together. And sometimes it has a limited amount of words in the dictionary in the device, so it will limit it to what it's able to say. It has a lot of words, but it's going to it's say my name. Like I know when it's trying to say my name because it'll say do run. And because it doesn't have the name Duran in it, but it has for do run in there. Do and run. Do run sounds like it's trying to say Duran.
Yeah.
So that's when I know it's trying to say my name. Let's see. Do Oh, it actually stores it all in there. That's what I like about it. It has a storage in it. So it stores all the information that you get. And then so it's pretty cool.
I'm loving
Santa
this
Claus
song.
robot.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's hilarious.
Oh, that's something unusual. I've never heard that before in my life. That's something
Yeah,
new.
yeah. That one. I
That's a
don't
good
have it.
joke.
That one. That one's funny though. That was a good one. So that was funny. Um, interesting. So it hasn't said anything yet. So I guess it didn't have anything to say about Santa Claus. So I don't think we're gonna get any messages about that. So yeah. Have you? Do you own an Ovilus device, Ryan, or have you used one?
I haven't used an Oculus device all my life. No, I haven't even used one. Haven't got one at all. No.
Yeah, I tried to collect another one, but they go for a lot of money.
I know they're so. I know they're so dear. Some are like the others free. That's like up to $1,000, and probably
Yeah,
it'll be about £999 for it. It's like
yeah,
ridiculous.
luckily I got this back when this version was just released, and Bill Chappell released this one and then released the Ovilus 3 a year after got this one. This one jumped up $100 more than what I got it for, but then the
Oh,
Ovilus, the re-release for that, because the Ovilus 3 is super badass to me too, but it's way above my pay grade to buy a single device. Um, but yeah, I got lucky to get this one I did, I feel like. But what is your favorite paranormal device or metaphysical device? Not matter.
um, say that again because the ghosts were interfering with the signal there. The ghosts were like interfering. I couldn't hear you properly. Hear you properly there. So. Excuse
Um,
me, I'm not boring. No, do not put negative things in please, people. Just leave me alone. Come on. Just leave me alone. Stop being bullies. Come on.
right. I'm sorry, Ryan. What were you saying real quick?
I said I couldn't hear properly. You said something about paranormal wise.
Oh, my favorite device?
Yeah.
Definitely the SLS. I gotta say the SLS. And I'll tell you the reason why. The SLS, giving that, it actually will allow the entity to easily present the way its form is taking. So it's easier to identify what you're doing.
Yeah, it's like the SDS I caught figures on my SS camera too, which is pretty good. Like the
Yeah.
two ones recording on the ceiling. Like there's two, and they're recording around. upside down, and Siobhan was there with me, and she was in the living room, just standing there, looking at
Yeah.
the stick figure thing. She saw it go down on the ceiling, so she moved away from the sofa, because there'd be two, shapeshifters or whatever such stuff. You don't know what it's going to be careful. So there's two things on the ceiling crawling, and it went down in the
Yeah.
corner, and into the sofa, and then, oh, this feel like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Mm.
definitely. That's
But
why I
your
like
capture was brilliant. Mm.
that. And that and Obulus, the Spirit Box, these three devices I feel like are one of the most important devices when you go out there. For me, when I go out there, at least, other people may have different opinions on that, but the
Mm.
reason why is because um, the for one, the Obulus, at least this one, it does have multiple uses to it, um, like motion sensor stuff like that. Um, but the Spirit Box, oh my gosh, you get so much activity through that device. It's amazing. So, Ryan, there was some questions I know I missed. Was there any questions I missed because our last live it was a bit glitchy and laggy on my part?
Um, when I played the live back on my one, it seemed fine. But when you played yours back, maybe the spirits on your side were interfering within
Exactly.
your video corruption, and it corrupted your video a wee bit. But on my side, it was fine. But my side was blurry. It was like something was there as well on my side, but nothing bad happened. So,
Yeah, I noticed
mm.
that because I was watching it and my side was so laggy, and this made sense why sometimes I missed because I knew I was having some type of interference, but it seems to be going a lot more smoother right now. Drag Apocalypse said Drag Apocalypse.
Oh, so some of the drag, and then I can't explain that one. That's something.
Apocalypse can mean different things too. That it's trying to say it could mean like the end, not the end of the world, but the end of something. Drag some fade. It just said fade. Let's see. Dope. Fade dope.
There you go. Because some
Yeah,
of
I
the
don't know.
spiritual energies can actually,
That's what
you
I'm
know, like
saying. Like,
spiritual energy. Yeah. Oh, it's all right. Mhm.
yeah, that's what you just don't know what some of these messages could mean until you actually research it, and then you start following clues and patterns later on. It's probably talking to me. uh, you said cleansing help. Yeah. Oh yeah. Uh, yeah. So there's a couple of things, and I do apologize if I already covered them, but I do like to keep some of this stuff in case there's people on. Um, like, say you're suffering from chronic nightmares or something, because you feel like you have something that is interfering with your dream state. Salt your bed, your pillow, um, and after I would say about a week, vacuum it up and reapply it. But when you're laying this salt out, you want to put that tension, put it all in the salt as you're pouring. Um, Also, like when I smudge, when I cleanse, I always want to get myself in a relaxed and calm state with that frequency up so that way I could get myself a more powerful cleansing and smudge, um, more effective that way. I don't have a TikTok account at the moment. Um,
I do, but it's not my
so,
paranormal one. But I just have my DJ one. That's it.
uh,
That's my
yeah,
music. I remember being on there, and I have my music up there. So
the DJ
But I don't
one
really
is
get out my information to people because I don't want to get trolls. So.
mm,
You know, trolls and
gotcha.
mm,
So yeah, there's so many different methods. I've also heard of like so if you're really close to neighbors, like say the other side of the wall, you live in an apartment and you have neighbors that have a lot of negativity going on, that negativity can actually travel through the wall and into your living space and actually affect your living space.
I never
So
knew that.
yeah, so from what I've heard, it sounds silly, but it's a horseshoe, and you mount it on a wall. Uh, you driving, like nails into it, into the wall. All this intention to shield yourself from whatever's happening next door, and this will reflect back at individuals, not come in. It'll kind of bounce back. Uh, watch there a lot. So, so yeah, I practice a lot of different types of cleansing because there's you always want to throw those curveballs because I kind of change it up a little bit and try to increase the knowledge of cleansing because many things that have weak different types of way of cleansing depending on what type of entities you're dealing with too. Uh, Upstairs effects. Interesting. Now, is that like a comfort thing, or do you not safe in the upstairs bedroom? So, but yeah, Ryan, do you know anybody else in personally in your life that has suffered from any type of demonic attachment or spirit attachment?
On the live, mainly I know is like G. That's it really.
Okay.
Well, not
Um,
really many people, but there's just maybe Jean, and that's it really. Jean's the one that's told me her experience that she had, and that's
okay.
it really. Mhm.
So, nothing like really threatening.
No, nothing really that dangerous. No, not that dangerous like you told me what she had the bruises. That's not me.
That's good.
Mhm.
Susan said, watching me feeling, oh, um, so what types of feelings do you get while you feel this watching? Do you feel cold in the room consistently? Do you feel unsafe in your bed? Do you feel sudden anxiety? Is there any sense that you pick up through smell? I gotta wake up as I get in bed. Um, hot room, feel like somebody's. Uh, yeah, that sounds like something more mischievous or just something that could be, if it is a non-threatening spirit, because non-threatening spirits do this just to get your attention. Because a lot of spirits do like attention. Whether they're good or bad, they'll just make noise or just try to get you because they want they don't want to feel left out uh, from us, especially if we're sharing space with them. So sometimes they're going to try to get your attention, try to stir things up, perfume that I. Okay, so I never heard of wearing perfume, so it's a good sign. I'm not gonna say that that's really negative, bad, but I mean it could uh, one way that really likes the smell good. Maybe she's just trying to get your attention and try to tell you something. Uh, I'm not him, unfortunately, so I won't be able to help you tell you who or what this is. But this is based on just what I would take it as far as so far what I think without being there to investigate it. But if I was there to investigate, I would sure be able to get a lot more answers. Do you use mirrors to people's energy? I use a lot of different things for deflecting energy. One thing I do recommend as a simple, easy to wear thing is something like Evil Eye.
Yeah.
People's ill wishing to you and actually reflect back onto themselves. There's also other methods. There's use of ritual practices that'll help with that. There's the jewelry, there's crystals. There's a lot of different crystals that I'd be able to share information with. DM me if you have any questions about that. With that, there's when you're dealing with stuff like that, you also want to make sure you keep your frequency tuned up as much as possible too. And also pentacles. Pentacles will protect you from sending bad signals to you, black magic, stuff that will attack you, harm you negatively, and pentacles actually protect you from that. There's a lot of misunderstanding with pentacles. Yeah. So there's a lot of misunderstanding. So many people that criticize the pentacles, thinking that it's something of evil when it's complete opposite. And anything could be used for evil. Someone could take a holy cross and make it evil. You know how they do that? They invert it. So really, yeah. So exactly, the pentacle will protect you from demons, but you also have to put the intention, just like how Catholic or Christian would put that into a cross. You gotta have faith, relic, because they can overpower it if you go. So you have to put the intention in everything you be practicing, and it's very important. So there was another experience. So there was another experience I want to cover that I've experienced. I've been having these experiences for, I want to say, since my first experience like this was in October, at the end of October, which is interesting because my holiday.
Yeah, I love Halloween stuff. It's my favorite.
Yeah. So these experiences are more potent to happen to me just before I go to bed. I close my eyes and people seeing entities that aren't in our life. And very interesting is the last experience that I had of this. I don't have them too often, but I almost kind of intuitively know that they're going to happen before they happen. And basically what happens is my third eye is opening, like wide, before I go to bed. And this is normal to happen before you go to bed. And so I've been kind of learning how to open the third eye, and I'm able to see these entities with my eyes closed. And the last experience that I've had of this was the night after the last live I did. And this is interesting because this is not that long before that demonic attack happened. So it's almost like something was telling me something. And the things that I was seeing was, I remember seeing a face project right in front of me, and it began from the top of the head, and it was kind of like a silvery color. There was really no color, it was silver, but it only would show about this much, the length of my hand, and it would shimmer down, and I would see the eyes, the nose, the mouth, and then it was gone.
Oh, that's actually interesting.
And then it'd do it again. It would do this, and it was bright. It wasn't like dim. My eyes were closed, pitch black. I was only seeing black. Lights were off. Nothing was like off my eyelids to cause any type of weird lighting effect on
No.
my eyes. And this was just happening. Face. It was a human-looking face, very, very pale-like face. After that experience, hold on. Inner compare rhythm. That's what it
Because
is.
because when I got there, I had a static shock on my shoulder, like a static shock right here, like
Oh, you
right
just
there.
felt like, oh,
Yeah, a static shock.
that's bizarre. And
Mm-hmm.
was that why you just rolled your sleep up like that?
I went,
I see you
can you hear
doing
me
that.
now? And I was, yeah,
This thing's off right now. It just said numbers.
numbers. Ooh. But what numbers?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes. Yeah. So
They're going to be saying count numbers.
so after this face that projects in front of me, right? It
Mm-hmm.
then follows up with third Jess. Well, interesting is that Jess could mean jester, and
Yeah.
there this object right here, which I'll handle carefully, just average Laura, the jester doll head. You know, so
Yeah.
said Jess.
Oh,
So I
she's
guess
coming through then. She must be talking. Yeah, she must be want to speak.
it could be very well true that it might be channeling. It just soldier front lot.
Uh,
So huge. Um, so welcome, Rebecca. Um, then following up after that face, I started seeing what was like some sort of. It just said great. Interesting. Um, entered row.
oh.
Wow. That's crazy.
Jess is talking up quite a lot there. She's speaking up quite a bit.
What's
That's good,
that? I'm
though.
sorry.
I said Jess is speaking up quite a bit, Jess is. She's talking quite a bit. So she wants to
Yeah,
communicate.
just said ever.
Hi, Jess.
Yeah.
There we go.
If you want to say
Mhm.
talking to this device and send me some words. You're live. Whoever is interacting with this device, if Laura the gesture doll ahead, you could speak to this device. It just said ghost.
Yep, there we go.
Wow, that's amazing. Muscle, you're using power. You hear that? Muscle.
Yep.
Modern. Modern appetite. Interesting. So, anyways, I start seeing this bright light. Bright light was almost basically it was starting to take this form of what looked like a three-dimensional. And this three-dimensional bright lit cube started doing this rotating counterclockwise, right? So it starts doing that, and it's getting larger. It starts
Yeah.
forming this light trail that basically looks like a portal. Following up, looking at this swirling three-dimensional cube, there's these beings that are just showing up all over the place, and they are clearly resembling, to me, what look like gray extraterrestrial biological entities. A typical zeta reticulum. Are you familiar with zeta reticuli? So, for those that aren't aware of Zeta Reticuli is a star constellation. It's one of our local star clusters. It's a star constellation called Zeta Reticuli, and that's where a large portion of gray ET actually originate from. is that star constellation. And these zeta reticulates is exactly what these entities look like. And there was hundreds of them, and they were kind of like surrounding me. Some were upside down, sideways, but they're all like it just said industry. Um, and it was like it formed like a tunnel of grapes, and they were like, "There's view project, interesting." Became as this experience was happening, Harry, like my goatee, Harry like maybe Ryan's ponytail. uh, is Harry your name?
How old are you, Harry?
So I was starting to be drawn closer to this rotating bright cube as beings are all surrounding the cube. They were standing there watching me as if they were waiting for me. What does this mean? Was this a portal I was going to enter? I don't know. I started thinking about it and started to hesitate to enter this portal, to get any closer. And then the experience terminated. I have not been able to beat this experience again since then. And it makes me wonder what would have happened if I proceeded through this life. I don't know what would have happened. I wasn't even asleep. I was experiencing all this fully awake and seeing all this just with my eyes closed.
That would have to be a portal.
I want to know is why has all of a sudden this been happening to me since late last year? This is what I feel like I'm starting to discover something of that within me that is awakening, that I believe is because of some knowledge that I built up over time, and knowledge is introducing me to possibly who I really am within me. I would have hesitated to. Yeah, see, I just, when you're experiencing that right off the get-go, the very first time, you can't just trust what you see right off the get-go, because you got to remember that highly negative things are, especially demons and devils, they're tricksters. They're going to mimic, and they're going to try to lure you in that way. Last night, I was visited by a entity that I've never encountered before. I saw it almost direct eye contact, but as my eyes moved, it didn't disappear, but it moved like that, away from my doorway. Glass, okay. Glass.
It's that one talking, yeah.
So what would happen if I just set this device here? It said few. You know, is there 3 of you later? So it just said few later. Maybe wait a little bit later and a few show up. Interesting. So as I was saying, these experiences that I've been going through is it's new to me, but the knowledge, you know, building this up, I think that this is within a lot of us as humans, and we are actually much more powerful as humans we are than we think we are. We don't understand it yet. So, and that experience also that I was talking about, so interesting because I saw a pale face, or a silvery type of pale face when I had my eyes closed the other day, that experience with all that stuff. This entity was wearing a bright white robe, had no feet, so it looked like it was free floating. But like, the way I can describe it is a white phantom. had a bony structure, kind of like my face, a lot skinnier.
Yeah.
It had a long chin, and it had flesh. It wasn't a skeleton. It was just really skinny. The eyes were like pearl white, like just really bright, and I, I just couldn't open up this. I didn't want to, because even though it resembled the light, like I was saying, negative entities can use this to trick you, like that. It's like a guy or an angel, but indeed, this entity is probably something malicious that is trying to get me to open up and allow to interact with me consciously, and actually manipulate me and get in my head. But the way the movement was very bizarre, because it was, like I said, it was on, you tell it was free floating, and it was tilted like this, and then it tilted this way, and then away from the threshold. It happened very fast, but I thought that was very bizarre. Never experienced anything like that. A white road band, very bizarre. Hello, Jeffrey.
Hi, Jeffrey.
So, yeah, it's very bizarre, and it's just interesting experiencing that. It just kind of just adds to the pile of everything that's happening. What's it get? It's intention. Yeah, exactly. And the interesting thing is that I didn't want to pass my threshold. It stayed right there, as if it wanted to figure out how to get in the room. I had my room guarded with stone, black, and sweetgrass over it. So, in order for it to enter my room, it would take a lot of energy for it to do this. And they do try to throw selenite stick off the threshold. They do it quite often. They even took it off the threshold and threw it at my door.
Oh, that's right. I got to tell you something. That's right. When everything is like, I hear a glitch in the spirits trying to interfere. But what I can hear is my girlfriend noticed this as well. When she was watching the live on the phone, my girlfriend was watching in the living room and I'm here in the kitchen. And she heard like a voice, like from like something speaking like the female speaking like a female voice, like talking, like maybe it's to do one of your objects. And she heard her talking, but sometimes I can hear it now. It's like someone trying to say something. It's like a female voice.
She heard a female.
Yes, because it's like there was a static coming through, all the static, and she didn't know what was going on.
Just now?
No, before, because she's upstairs because she's not female. She's going on a cold. So
Oh, so the last life she heard it.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But I was gonna ask you. That reminds me. Did you hear that voice that was calling him? I couldn't pick it up on my. I was trying
Yeah,
to, but
I couldn't make out what it said, but it was saying something.
okay, yeah, I was trying to hear it. I put on headphones and everything, but when I'm talking, I felt like my voice interrupted.
Yeah, because the voice in the kitchen was spoken said my name, like Ryan said my name, and
exactly.
that's right. That's the one. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And yeah, that's what I'm saying. That they try to do that when someone's talking, or if self is talking. You know, like this interference could be really frustrating, especially on investigation. I run into those situations all the time. And there's so you remember when I went live with Rose Clown? Now, pretty soon I'm gonna be pushing some more stuff on that. So what the plan is I want so much happening on that live investigation. I want to release this with two different versions. I'm going to do a release of one for people that want the knowledge, the information in there, and the evidence. Then I'm going to have one section out with short, like the short film, but more shorter, just like kind of like basically a reel. Because what's want to see the evidence and they don't really have time and knowledge. But then maybe they want to see what I have in here. Then that might actually get them and just want to gain the knowledge, get a more understanding of what's going on. So they're going to watch the bigger video. Sometimes when someone's new to the paranormal, they know what's going on, they go right into the knowledge part. It could be a bit boring to them, or it could be too much information. So why not allow them to see some stuff real quick, just right off the go, and then give them knowledge so they can understand what's going on. So this live, I'm going to add some slides to what I'm talking about. I have multiple different camera angles going on, and different cameras that capture things that certain cameras didn't capture. So there's a lot going on in that. I was stunned with what happened. That live solo investigation, Pam the Doll, that one blew my mind when I got that SLS footage. That I actually did that live. I wasn't expecting when I did.
It's very bizarre.
I knew she was going to show herself, no problem, but I wasn't expecting the interaction the way that happened. And when you look at that sketch that I did, it really resembles that entity so well, like how it like that form. But yeah, did train low men. That's what it said. Now I wonder what it would mean by train. So does that mean anything to you?
Not really. No.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Something I got to figure. It just said running. Sandy, right when you touch this case. It just said Sandy. That's another name. Or it could be something sandy, like a sandy area.
Maybe or see if you can ask his last name. Ask like for a last name. See if it's got a last name to it. That's a good idea.
Oh, thank you, Rebecca. That realm that it's in, maybe it's sandy. Or sandy, running sandy. Running through sand. There's some meaning to each word that it could use as kind of a puzzle, and you just kind of have to put them together to get the clues. Sometimes you'll get on cue, on point stuff that right off the bat the answer, but some things it kind of just it wants you to follow a puzzle, and actually sometimes it'll tell me pattern or puzzle, and it's like, man, like. You just can't give me the answer. You got to give me it in a riddle, huh?
Yeah, that's it. You got to write down and think of it and then think, right, I can ask what it said. There we go.
Yeah.
Put it together. But like Scrabble, you have to put it all together and there you go. It's worded properly.
It makes you work for your trophy find. So, kind of like like it's a test to see if you're worthy enough to understand what's going on. So, Ryan, did you have any questions for me since the last live? Or?
Any questions like from last week? Like any more? Or
what's that?
Oh, yeah, that's right. I was about to ask you about demonic entities. It's about like how do they decide to pick someone to overtake them? How can you trap them in the circle? How can you trap the demon? And how can you defeat them from that trap? How can you trap them?
Oh, how do you trap them? Well, it just said Bill.
Oh,
Bill. That's the name. Yeah, it just said Bill. That's a common human name.
Is Bill here? I guess I'm not too sure. If Bill's here, can you make one of the cat balls, please? Can you make one of the flash?
Do you know anybody?
Or touch your red bear?
Wait, what?
The rainbow. You see it? I'll show you.
Okay. It just said quilt.
It
Oh,
does
that's
that.
cool. That's got. That's awesome. It just said quilt.
Quill.
Yeah.
Oh.
Um. So we were talking about how to trap it. So
Yeah.
that's usually done based off ancient practices. Usually, going back to King Solomon, how to trap things in brass rings and bases and stuff like that. This is which is really effective. It's like trapping a genie in a bottle. So the same thing with dolls. Dolls could be used as what they call ritual dolls. They trap entities in these dolls. This is extremely dangerous practice, but if someone's using this to deal with an entity that's haunting, they can indeed, if they have knowledge, whether they do they have abilities to, with the right knowledge, like I was saying, to trap these entities in jewelry and objects, and um, and then that object is no longer, like whether if it's toy or what, the toy is no longer a toy; it's an artifact now. And that artifact needs to be handled delicately, the same as my yeah. And basically, there's some people that do this for dark work, and some that do this as far as to get rid of something. Some people also use crystals to absorb entities. Then there is a process to destroy this crystal properly without being harmed by what's absorbed within it.
Mhm.
So this is something that's extremely important to understand when you're doing stuff like that. Black tourmaline absorbs entities. Black obsidian, those types of things are stuff that we use for absorbing these
Yeah,
entities.
because my girlfriend, she's got a black obsidian necklace. She's got a pendant of a black obsidian pendant, so she actually wears it sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's a
exactly.
pendulum, not a necklace.
Yeah. It just said climbed work. Okay, so it said quilt, climbed work, computer. So that's what's on now. Climbed work,
Oh, yeah.
computer.
That's interesting, that.
Mm-hmm. And I do a lot of my work on the computer, my editing. It just said aura. Interesting. So, so yeah, it said aura right there. It's I know it's backwards, but it's
Yeah. My aura is very
aura.
healthy. It's like, well, healthy aura is always healthy, so.
Yeah,
But try to destroy negativity, like away from negative people, because I don't want my aura to be, sometimes we are human aura can, if there's too much negativity around, it all messes up and it changes all colors. It
yeah,
can be a nightmare.
exactly. Yeah, work computer. I that's like my whole life in paranormal is on my computer. It's my work. This thing
Mm.
understands whatever it is that's communicating through this device environment. Understands that I'm putting a lot of immersed work in my computer with, reviewing footage, reviewing a lot of stuff, um, and the editing. It's very, it's vast work. There's so much more to it when you you're kind of got your hands tied doing a lot of this editing and trying to not make any mistakes or overlook anything, to
Mhm.
make professional video on your own. um, it can be very difficult, but but what motivates me is my passion in this. So, and I also work based on what I'm drawn to doing. If I feel like my intuition is telling me that I should go do investigation. Discernment, England. So it just said discernment, England.
I haven't heard that before. That's so unusual. Something new. The ghost is
So
obviously talking. It wants maybe trying to say something that's relevant for them to stay, and they're trying to say what they're trying to explain. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
because like all the apps, they're all fake apart from the obvious. That's the only the real thing in this earth is obvious. It picks up the energy from the ghosts. It picks up their energies. And there's
yeah,
words, and it's picking up the correct answers, and it's been proven to be that, and it's known for that, and it's very good. It's always relevant with the apps. No, they're not relevant at all.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Mm.
Fog, discernment, England, fog. Now the fog part that gets me is I was all fogged up the last live we did. Like I was saying, there was pause moments where I just felt like I had so much going on around me. It was distracting me consciously. Doesn't God give us the choice of discernment? Yes, you're
It's
right.
true. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Um, so we got a lot of names since I brought this out. What did we get? Bill. There was Jess. Jess could be a name. Um, do you remember what the other one was? I know that Bill, Jess. There was one more. I can't even put my foot down.
Sandy.
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 Yeah,
Yeah, Sandy. Yeah.
Sandy. Yeah, 3 names. And the interesting thing is, didn't it say few?
Yeah, I think so.
Few, meaning
Yeah.
3.
Like Sandy View. Yeah.
The 3 entities that have entered because it
Mm.
said enter.
Yeah, because
So
it feels like what I keep sensing is, you know, the doll onto your left, the one with the hat on, with the long creamy dress on. It feels like
yeah,
it's like keeps looking at me. Feels like it's drawn to me. Like I can just feel something that keeps looking at me and watching me. Because when someone watches me, it looks like sense things. When something looks like when someone's looking at me or watching me,
yeah.
and I can sense she's what's her name?
Angela the doll.
Not Angela, the other one with the hat on. The next one.
This one.
Yes, that one there. Yeah.
This one I actually never investigated yet. I never checked it
But
out.
she keeps like drawing into me, like looking at me. She keeps looking.
Yeah. It would not surprise me if there's an entity there, but yeah, there's a lot of work that has to be done with a lot of these objects. A lot of these objects have they came from areas where people may have passed. They came from areas that you don't know where they, what kind of environment they absorbed before me possessing them. Um, Giggles the Clown was handed to me by someone that was in a hurry to. They didn't even want to wait the time to deliver it. The guy came and delivered it to my house immediately. I wasn't even home yet. Luckily, my roommate was there to the the doll, but he didn't even want to touch it. But yeah, it's just
He looks awesome though. You know, he does look awesome. You know, but he does look awesome, but he's haunted.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Giggles, I.
It's like in the
I think
garden,
the name.
someone has a skeletal giggles in the garden. The garden has a skeleton in the garden.
I don't know, like
The
maybe the
Halloween
name.
dog.
If the name Ed trigger this object into communication, because you know how
Hmm.
it like the name Ed. And
Yeah.
actually, there I got the name not just on the ovulus, but it even said it on the spirit box, very clear.
Ooh, that's cool. That's actually
So
interesting.
apparently, it really is saying that its name is Ed, but Ed is like the perfect nickname that something
Yeah.
left use.
Mm.
because it's such a simple name, and they like to use those types of names. Godwitch, welcome.
I got which.
Thank you for joining us. And like stuff like this, this
I
isn't
like that.
like
That's
something.
awesome.
This is something that it kind of it's like a resemblance of what my work is. It also kind of it having objects like this also triggers that type of activity to attract what this is. But it's just more of a symbolize of my passion and what I do. This stuff, the stuff right here, weren't bought as haunted objects. Everything else that are on my shelf on these altars are stuff that are either haunted, possessed, cursed, or going to be used as a trigger object, whether they're not, haunted or possessed. Welcome, Janet. So I also have this paranormal puck. I don't know if you've heard of those or not.
I heard about them, but I haven't got one of them, so I
Energy
haven't got
puck.
one of them.
So this right here will basically detect static in the environment.
It's like Bill Chapel uses it, yeah.
Yeah, you've probably seen them on Ghost Adventures.
Yeah.
They set it on the bed, and it actually gives them direction. It gives you the direction of where the entity is coming from and where the static energy is being detected from, and it'll light up. It'll light up. Well, it's kind of hard to see in the light, but it'll light up a color, and depending on what the color is how much static energy is interfering with the device. And it'll give you the direction, and that's what's amazing. That when it gives you the direction it's coming from, so you know where to like recording at. So it's really cool that today's technology that gives you that advantage to be able to know where to face your cameras or to start snapping your picture. It makes it a lot more easier for people out there that really are interested in knowing what's going on beyond our eyesight or beyond hearing. And like I said, us as humans, we're only able to see a fraction of what's really there.
It's like there's government, it's like the government, like I'm saying, like there's government now trying to hide paranormal ghosts, the government is trying to hide this as well. But the thing is, there's no point of hiding these things because they should know that they're there every day. They're around everywhere, so you can't hide it there in your homes or in the street walking around, reconstruction things, recreating what happened to them, or walking around making friends with other ghosts and other people, but the other people may not see them, but they're walking around with other people, It's like, yeah. But with demons, they're the worst things. But demons can be a pain in the ass, but you have to deal with them, try and kill them off and get rid of them.
You remember you told me about that growl you heard going down the stairs?
Yes, that's it.
It just said,
yeah.
Scan. You want me to scan over an object like this? It said scan, SCAN, scan.
Oh, maybe it wants you to do that then, yeah.
Maybe it wants me to scan. What direction do you want me to scan, though? Just kind of go over like this? Because then maybe I could find out who's trying to interact with this device. Okay. So, not getting anything right now. Has just came up.
Has something standard, or has anything stand, or has he standed up, or has he standed yet, or don't know.
Yeah, I don't. It's interesting. So I'll just kind of hold it right here for now. So now, what I realized, I didn't realize what you were saying the last live we did until I reviewed it, and I kind of misheard the question because of the quality of my connection. And I remember you were asking I thought you were asking like how much something like it was the cost or the cent or something, but actually you asked like what the sound like what kind of demon was or something. Is that
Mm.
correct? We're asking
The
that.
growl, that's why it seems like the demon that was growled, that screamed and growled at one. Yeah, that one, with
Yeah.
house
So
vibration. What type
so
would that
yeah.
be?
So yeah, the kind of demons that do that most commonly are like as far as screaming are like banshees. Now, but the problem is jumping to conclusions of what particular type of demon is that a vast amount of demons in fact growl and scream. So narrowing it down would be a little bit difficult. Uh, we would have to narrow it down to uh, the description of how like what the sounds that are heard. There's certain demons that make sound, um, and then there's. But you said that it growled and it sounded like a male.
No, sorry, I meant the way the other way around. It was screaming first, it screamed with a male loud scream, and then a growl at the end of it, and the house vibrated.
Yeah. So
That's what I mean, because someone said to me the way it probably was, because she just likes to remind me of things, because sometimes I get a bit overexcited about what I heard and some things like that, so. But she said it was a scream first, because I remember we both heard it, it's just a scream or a male scream, and then there was a whole growl, there was a growl at the end of it. You know when they leave a growl and the house vibrates? That one. Not
interesting.
the growl first, it's the scream first. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, that would I will not lie is it's something like that type of experience is something that is very common with uh, most demonic manifestations is uh, growl, this guttural growl followed by screams. The scream part is the part that where it could narrow down a bit, but where I'd narrow it is usually like a banshee. Banshees are known to scream, and that's what they're more famously known for is screaming. And usually they said that hearing the scream of a banshee is cause unfortunate happening. So,
Oh.
or and in some cultures they believe that if you hear the scream of a banshee, that there will be a death of somebody or something in your
Oh yeah, because
life.
that was around Halloween time. I thought that's right in the morning
Hmm.
before they had started that. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
because I'm just wondering what type of demon would have came through because that was the same similar timing when that thing came from my voice when I was asleep and someone heard me
Mhm.
and she touched me. I was fast asleep and she managed to stop me from doing it. I was still asleep after. I was still sleeping and that was it, and I stopped because I don't know what it is because I never do. I haven't done demonic verses in my life. I haven't said demonic saints, just words and verses, and I was coming through all these demonic things, but I don't know what it was.
Yep. And I understand that because, and it gets frustrating when you don't know what it is. Uh, Even for me, with the amount of knowledge that I have in demonology, I feel like I've chipped the edge of the iceberg with knowledge really that's available out there, and it could get overwhelming. Um, I could spend my whole lifetime and only learn a quarter of what I should be understanding of demonology. Um, when it comes to uh, when I started studying demonology, of course, where I started from was beginning the more common known entities in demonology. So and it kind of created more easier to understand, uh, understanding the information because I am familiar with most of the information. Read, so I was able to grasp on and have a really easy intake of what I was receiving, the information. Started studying more in uncommon ancient entities, um, and also studying like ancient deities. Uh, are separated from demons. So, but demons, it can be very dangerous to study, not properly study in the right spiritual mindset. So, and like I said, there's people that go insane, they go mad reading this information. Sometimes they start. The reason why is because demons, when they get in your head, they'll use the information to manipulate you, to cause you go hostile. You go hostile on yourself. It really will mess you up. And so demonology is not something recommended for everybody to study, because you have to be in the right spiritual mind to study that type of phenomenon. So, like, if you have like a brain of a sociopath, studying demonology would probably be the last recommended thing to do. So, now, so it's been pretty quiet.
I'm smelling nickel, like copper and nickel, like a smell. It's like a little bit of salt. I can smell a little tiny bit of copper and nickel now. I can smell it a little bit.
You get copper, nickel.
Yeah, and a bit of metal. It's an uneasy smell. I just don't like it. It's like I remember when I was reading about Satanists, and that came and it's come back to me again. It's like I do not like that. It's like
Yeah,
it's happening now. It's getting a bit.
yeah. I could definitely understand that. The scent, the scent that I get really aware of a situation where I kind of have to be on high alert of, that I need to start rethinking, reevaluating my decision I'm about to do, and carefully, because you start sensing sudden anxiety or smelling like something rotten that's unexplainably manifesting in this area, and then is no longer there for unexplained purpose. That's a situation needs to be delicate. Protection is something that I always keep on me. Why I invested in my fears, so that way I sleep with my rings on every day. Exactly. So,
I'm using my own spray as well.
Yeah,
Just to did it now. I spray myself now, so
you could just spray that. And like, if you don't have stuff to put on you, I wouldn't recommend sleeping with your neck, because you could accidentally strangle yourself in your sleep. So it's not really a smart thing to wear jewelry around your neck when you're asleep.
no.
If you don't have anything like this for when you're sleeping, use salt, black salt.
I got that. That kills demons off. I know that. Yeah.
Yeah. Stone stick, black tourmaline. These types of things. I have 4 sticks of stone that I place every corner of my room, and that creates that invisible grid that does show off highly negative things. So it's very effective, and it's very cool knowledge to understand. Find salt black. Yeah, there is black salt. It's not common salt that people use. It looks like Ryan now. Just
Trying to find it. But it's in here anyway. It's in the drawer. Where is it?
I've heard also black salt is the more effectively used salt. This salt, yeah, is very good. As far as
Yeah, I got black salt in my cup. I got black salt in the drawer. which I got some haven't used yet. I used it first of all at the start, sorry for interfering. I used it at
Yeah.
the start, and I managed to get rid of the other demons that were already in this house. The one that growled, screamed and growled. I killed that one off,
Okay.
and then I killed the Zuzu one off. I'll discuss it with you some other time, privately, because I gotta mention a few things anyway. I don't want to mention it on live. Because
Yeah.
this was like a female one, and I managed to rid her off completely, and which worked. And I'll go not on here because it's a bit private.
Oh. Becca, all right, you're having sound difficulties. Is it my connection? Staining to. Yeah. There's probably some connection issues that are going to happen lives, fortunately. I noticed that when live segment tremor density, that's very interesting. Just said that. Wow, that's some interesting information to document right now and add to the other messages that I received. And density, we all, I don't know if anybody's aware of this that's watching, but density could also mean dimension. And
Mm.
actually, entities and extraterrestrial or any interstellar like to use, they actually prefer to use the term density rather than dimension. And that's what's going on here, I feel like, what it's trying to say. So, just the audio. So,
I hear you fine. I hear you perfectly.
I could hear you too. It's a little bit blurry, but I can hear you perfectly right now. Am I blurry?
A little tiny bit as well, yeah. It's just the spirits interfering with us. That's what it's the spirits are interfering. They
Oh
want to
yeah,
not be in this now. They want to talk as well and sit with
and
us. It's
that's
a
very
little
true.
meme.
Yeah, they're gonna manipulate our devices. This is definitely something. If we had a perfect cameras, perfect everything, it would
Mhm.
just be a very ghostly situation. Um, okay, so it still says density. Oh, you got the EMF out.
Yeah. It's turned on though,
Well,
but the green light's there, but the battery's slightly built it, but it still works. So,
oh yeah.
yeah.
Now I wonder if you hold that for a little bit, if that just starts going off. I can hear you, but it breaks up from time to time. Don't want to get. Yeah, I understand that. Try to maybe jump off and then come back on and see if that helps it. It just said afraid.
Oh,
It said
it's
force
afraid.
afraid. Is it trying to say that I was afraid to proceed in this dimension, this portal that they've taken me
Dimension,
to?
yeah.
Because it said course, and course, it could symbolize running through course, an experience, a path, and it's afraid though. So are you maybe it could be afraid or it could be timid to traverse in this reality and communicate. It could be I could be channeling with something timid, could be afraid. I am in my drawer. I the batteries put it in. Oh, you do have an EMF too. We got multiple people here that got EMF detectors, and that's a very important thing. Don't leave this. We need you here. Oh,
There we go.
uh, oh yeah. See,
These here
I
are
love
good.
that. I need to see. I have the box, but I do want that one actually stores the information without having to record on a separate device.
Mm-hmm.
Get the information. I also want to invest in. Ever heard of the portal device?
Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
want to get one of those. That looks really cool. You actually hook up your spirit box to it, and it actually eliminates
that
Yeah, it makes the backwards sleep and it makes reverb. Hmm.
yeah, I wanted to test that out for myself to see exactly how that works and how legit and genuine this is, but it's so expensive to
Yeah.
invest in. So it said afraid course density. This is very interesting information that it's given me. And, I'm actually really, I'm very happy that I actually got some decent messages on I mean, this wasn't even supposed to be an investigation, but this device is really turning this into an investigation, by the way.
Oh,
So,
that's Jamie Riley's friend, Mike. That's Jamie's friend. The Riley brothers. Mike.
so that stuffed teddy bear device, that's basically, is that like a REM pod? Like, was what that is, right? It's like a REM pod in a stuffed animal. And if anything that goes by the bear, it's going to light up because it's breaking the electromagnetic field, right?
Yeah.
So that's what those are. I saw those, and those ones are actually pretty expensive. Did you get that off? Is it Ghost Stop? Did you get that off of, or did you
No,
find that?
I got off infreddy.co.uk. His stuff is brilliant. He makes it himself and he makes his own things. You should check him out, infreddy.co.uk.
Yeah, if you could share me the information, I
And
like
his name's
checking out.
called, his name's Andy. I'll send you a thing through the post with his little card in there anyway. I'll send you his thing and you look on his website. Or I'll send you the
Cool.
link on the Instagram and I could send it to you.
Awesome.
It's by Andy,
Here,
yeah. He's very good at making stuff. He's brilliant. Because his stuff's not expensive. And he does IR lights, he does infrared cameras, he can take infrared still shot photo cameras. And he has everything what you need in there. And he makes things himself as well, which is good. And he just re-edits the radios and stuff, makes some big radio things. He's
That's
brilliant.
awesome.
Because Ghost are pretty dear. Mm.
He's also what?
Ghost stuff are quite expensive.
yeah, I know.
And Powerful Race, they're the same, they're expensive too. The Motion Music Box, I like that, but
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you, have you ever felt like you may have had any presidents give? Things trying to go political. But presidents, think of this. So demons have presidential ranks also.
like us.
That is very common in technology. Believe it or not, there are president rank demons, demonology. It said presidents. This could be a little disturbing here. So that kind of threw me off a bit right there. I was not expecting this. Afraid presidents give. Now, what would be the give? Interesting. So, I'm sorry, Ryan. What I was saying is, have you ever experienced or feel like you may have experienced something that you can't explain, but may have been some divine intuitive gift within you? Have you ever experienced anything like that?
It's like what I experienced, the way I experienced things was more like, you know, when you're dreaming and you see a spirit, but you're not actually dreaming, you're actually in the spiritual realm. So whenever I experienced this, it's similar to your thing, like the spectral realm. But I have a funny feeling. I remember I seen you without me talking to you live, but I seen you literally there. And you were there as well, and I was there. And you were talking to me and my girlfriend through her phone, and it was pretty bizarre. It's like, and you told me about to get rid of this demon of some sort. Because there's a demon there, and there was a demon in the dream. You said, make sure you use black salt over you use black salt, make a long line through your hallway and leave it there, and leave upstairs there, and leave it there, and all this magically appear off and die, and that'll be gone. If there's any more problems, let me know and I'll help you out. I remember you said that. It's like a spectral realm thing was going on.
Yeah, that kind of like an type thing, like you're in with conscious with types. I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, because I
That's
saw you literally there, as like on the phone, like talking to my girlfriend, like video call, like normal video. It was very bizarre.
exactly. I got three words that just came in. It said race, 60, hike, past, record.
This is live recording, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe whatever's here
And once
remembers,
you get it,
maybe it remembers our past recording live.
oh yeah.
But the interesting thing is 60. Now, what would the number 60 mean to this? Whatever
Hmm.
interact with this. The number six. Remember, it said numbers.
Numbers, it did say numbers, yeah. I remember it said that. So number
So there's
60.
yeah, and then I got 60. So there's going to be a list that I'm going to get at the end of this live, and I'm going to have to just piece things together. It just said adultery. That is a highly
Oh,
negative.
that's a negative, that's a negative energy, yeah. It's coming through.
Yeah, especially if it's something that is rank of like a president rank.
Like
Um,
60th president in the rank of the, yeah, there we go, match up.
just said burning. So this is now I'm starting to get a little bit more sinister words now. Adultery. There is like for example,
Hmm.
Asmodeus. Asmodeus is the devil of that rules. Through, they call it the adultery devil, or they also are known as the devil that basically that it'll break marriages, break people apart to influence adultery. Um, and that's just one entity out there at a lot of that to influence that. A lot of influence, but it's interesting that it says this, then burning right after.
Oh, that's not a good sign, is it? That's not good at all. That's a bit, something's happening, but we can't see, but something's happening around us, but we can't. So maybe it's planning to do things.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I had to expect it. If anything happens, I'll be expecting something to happen. Expect it. Then you won't be as scared, you know, just expect it to happen. Whatever it will be, just expect.
Exactly. And with Pam, when I brought Pam out a long time ago,
Mm-hmm.
I did ask some things like, uh, "Have you been affecting my home life in the past?" And it said determined Pam, and that was before I got its true name, but it already understood, you know, like how to use that name Pam. It was going to resemble something. It was going to tell me. Determined that yes, Pam was responsible for a lot of things that affected me in my home life and throughout my life. Now, also, is it said malice. Malice, you know, the influence of people. So different entities will influence. They are drawn to influence you in specific things, like the glutton demon,
Mm-hmm.
the adultery demon. There's all these things that a demon of envy. So there's so much going on that what entities will influence you. don't know if it has something to do with these objects or something that entered, but usually devil,
Sorry,
a
I
devil.
got goosebumps. My hands are standing up on my arms.
So I'm gonna say this right now. Some of these objects
Mhm.
are going to obtain some very ancient stuff, and when it comes to these types of things like entities, devil entities
Yeah.
that just traverse through for no apparent reason, these type of
Mm.
entities are entities that have to be conjured up or through ritualistic ceremony. There has to be something to happen, punch a hole in this earth for it to come into our reality, for something that powerful. So this probably means that one of these objects are responsible for saying this stuff.
It must be the
Now,
one in the box. Must be the one behind the thing in the house. The little glass case. Must be that one.
so what if
Maybe
I
she
hold
wants
this
to
out
do
now?
iron.
I mean, what does this selenite stick mean to whoever's giving me these messages? That's what I want to know. What does this selenite stick mean to what? My hands are sweating.
Same here.
Like you too? Clammy.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta put the selenite stick down because I don't want to get it wet. Because my hands are seriously starting to get clammy, which is very bizarre. And actually, this is a sign of manifestation.
Mhm.
When my clamming, something is trying to interact with me. And I've had this happen on many different occasions. So let's kind of do a sweep through real quick. And I'm just going to see if
Let's
anything.
see who it is. See what demon's talking up.
Yeah, because I'm getting something. Because my hands are clammy. And it's a sign. It can be. So attachment can easily bring those influences. And it could also influence people to be selfish, to be jealous, to cheat, to lie, murder, and the more you give into this, the more you show weakness, the more will you show for your spirit growth, the more vulnerable this person is to influences. So especially someone that is depressed, sad, um, very ill, they are going to primarily target these individuals because these will go after people that are suffering. And if, that's why it's very important to be more aware spiritually of what's really going on. So that way, the signs or to actually affect you. Now, if you feel like you're being affected, uh, is the important thing is to know how to deal with that situation. But that's why definitely be careful of what information you take in, because some information that you take could be misinterpreted and actually lead.
Hi, Ash Paranormal.
Hello, RS
Yeah,
Paranormal.
I speak to him quite a lot. He's a nice person. He does this, there's something with his son as well. They do something together, and their stuff's real, and it's pretty good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So another thing also that I wanted to bring up, it's a bit off topic what we're talking about. I mean, it does paranormal, but it's just a little bit different compared to what we got on here. I want to discuss. There's a film that is probably one of my most liked of all documentary films in that matter. Um, for anybody that is really wanting to research study this type of phenomenon, UFO phenomenon, ghosts, demons, highly negative entities, kind of learning what's going on, and about this that's being a cult in society. I don't really want to. Well, I don't know if I'd be censored for saying it, but for safety reasons, for copyright reasons, if I could send you these links to these videos for you to watch, just DM me and I can send it to you. You may have even seen them, but they are red pill videos. I mean, clearly, the stuff, the information they give you on there is amazing. It's just spot on. Everything they discuss, all the insiders that are discussing information, all the credibility is up, because some of this, when I watched these films, I kind of had to take a look at it, because it almost it made me question almost everything that you look at. Like, it changes the way you look at everything. But at the same time, you don't want these films to really affect the way you live your life. Don't go crazy and just start questioning your own anatomy. So, but these films cover a lot of stuff, mainly UFO, extraterrestrial phenomenon, state, society, government corruption, all sorts of stuff, reptilians among us, the whole Black Aryan alignment that's in the universe, that's kind of basically help protectors of the universe. And there's so much stuff that's being covered on there. They also cover about that there is indeed a secret space program, which is amazing stuff, the information you get on there, with insiders on that. And one of the things that fascinates me that they talk about, and really the credibility of this information is amazing, because a lot of mediums will actually correspond to this information, this fact true. And one of the insiders in the secret space program was talking about that there is in the cosmos, in our local star cluster, there is what looks like a giant spider web in space, and call it the cosmic web.
Yeah.
Cosmic web it's connected star to star, different sources, and extraterrestrials use the cosmic web to actually travel from star to star, planet to planet, and they also communicate with it. So when we do things, when we set off certain signals, especially when we're setting off something like a nuclear device, like we go back to the 40s when the Trinity bomb was set off. Once that bomb went off, that Trinity bomb, it sent off a signal out cosmos in this cosmic web that is all connected by electromagnetic filaments. And like I said, they communicate to this web. So this sent a signal, this nuke sent off this signal out there to show that the ETs saw that we were at a certain level of advancement, but we weren't set for this type of advancement spiritually. That's why the UFO phenomenon boomed after that Trinity bomb came up. They were not happy that we had technology that could literally destroy us all. So they cover this information there. The guy, Robert Oppenheimer, the person that made the Trinity bomb, talks about how we have done this before. And he's talking about, ancient history, how in places like the Middle East, how back then that they had indeed weapons of mass destruction like this. There's proof of it. There's radiation. There's shadows from where animals or people that were vaporized by these mass destruction type explosive devices, where they left the shadows of the victims on the ground. They're still there.
I gotta say
Proof
something.
is there, but they don't want to tell you.
But I gotta say something. Do you know about the Rake monsters? Do you believe in them?
What is it?
The Rake monster, like an alien thing.
Oh, yeah. I love, when it comes to cryptids, Ryan, I love hearing about it because I do believe in that they are unexplained creatures that come in and out from other densities or glimpse moments.
Because they're pretty interesting because it's from chemical waste. You know how they're formed? It's from all this chemical waste, and it's strange, but it just forms an animal or a human or something like that. It's just like an alien or some sort. And my government always thinks some aliens crash landed on Earth and they're just walking around. And
I believe that, like, even the entities like Bigfoot has some type of extraterrestrial origin to it because
we're still trying to dig into research, yeah.
yeah, I believe that that things like Yetis, Bigfoots, Chupacabras, and all these cryptids out there are not something that's common for us to see because I believe that they have abilities, conscious abilities, to actually leave one realm and into another realm. And there's videos of a lot of these entities look really genuine. There's also ones that look really fake, but really genuine ones where these entities are there and then they fade out as if they're a ghost. But they're completely
That's it.
and it's very bizarre. And this makes me wonder if they consciously understand the way the physics allow them to traverse into other densities. I thought they came through dimensional thing. I've seen 1-2 times. It was crazy. See, exactly. That's what I'm saying. And
But I never came across a
believe
Rake
that-
monster. I like to come across one, but I've never seen one. But do not get too close to it, that's the thing. Just leave it alone.
Exactly. Like the octopus. The octopus mainstream science even admit that the DNA of the octopus is not from Earth.
No, it's not. It's from space.
Technically, the octopus that are at all these like time aquariums and stuff, you're looking at an extraterrestrial. That
just
DNA
aliens.
is non-terrestrial. Yeah. So who knows our ocean? We only discovered like what 3 to 5% of the world's ocean. Who knows?
We got aliens in the sea, we got all sorts.
Yeah, and that's exactly why an octopus can literally shape itself. It could
Like an alien head.
alienize itself. Yeah. It can alienize itself within like half a second. Just bam, instant change. It has abilities that are unlike any other animal. And scientists they're still baffled about that. They don't understand how the heck this is possible. They could wedge themselves within like little tiny holes and it'll be like a nice sized octopus. Squeeze itself to almost nothing. This thing literally
Because they have the higher advanced technology.
It almost like literally could squeeze its way into the smallest crevice as it slides itself.
That must be sore. Must be painful. We can't do that.
And yet alone that squid, they said that there is no growth limit on a squid. Who knows how big of a squid really exists down the deepest part of the ocean? If you really think about it, like, okay, so there's representation of 120-foot squid. That, as far as I know, what I see in documentary films, I'm pretty sure that is nothing compared to other stuff that we haven't seen. You know, we haven't been down there. We don't. I mean, as far as we know in society, there's no technology to get us down so deep. So we don't know. So if we only discovered, we know more about space damn near than what we know about our own ocean. Like,
Exactly.
So, and then you start looking at it's like Mars, and then you start seeing ice caps. Well, there's ice, but then they said that there was no possible way that there was life on the planet. And then this is where you start to question everything now. When you start, you see this, and then you can't really just immediately take everything in. That's why that saying, take everything in a grain of salt. So, they don't really want you to look into stuff like this. That's where, like they say, they don't want you to do your own research. You'll find some stuff, So, yeah, there's clearly water on Mars. Like it makes you wonder on some of these planets. It's like, what if there's air on some of these planets? They're not telling us. So it really makes you wonder. And you know what? In the documentary film that I was discussing, that one of my favorite films that I watched, you know what? I'm going to say called Above Majestic. So if you get a chance, they have it on TV. They have it on TV. I should be allowed to say with no copyright. They got on TV. They got on YouTube. Look, TV is free, so it shouldn't be copyright issue. But check it out, and they talk about stuff. And one of the astronauts interviewed on there, he's one of the original Apollo missions. He actually talks about Mars, one of their moons, Phobos.
That's it,
yeah. He says that there is a monolith on one of the moons of Mars. He's talking about Phobos. He said people are going to see that monolith, and they're going to ask who put that there. He openly admits this. There's like a lot of astronauts that are actually admitting a lot of stuff. They're getting a lot of these original astronauts are getting older, and they're not as intimidated by the threats of them being open to this stuff. And but yeah, and Neil Armstrong. There's so much about like what happened on the original moon landing. There's pretty disturbing stuff about that moon landing. And a lot of this information on this documentary goes over a lot of this stuff. And the secret society stuff, oh my gosh, it's amazing, the stuff that they cover and what's caught on camera. In the ocean have some pretty incredible paranormal stories. Oh, I bet. I'm pretty sure that they have a lot of paranormal stories there, like USOs, which are known to be UFOs in the water, which are usually something that's spotted. As far as UFO activity, there's been a lot of activity in the ocean. UFOs, they're diving into the ocean. Something about water and UFOs that we don't really quite understand what's going on.
Because UFOs like greenery, like trees to get oxygen, and it feels like perpetual wind.
I also think that it's also possible that these UFOs are diving deep in these oceans because there's actually bases down there hidden deep in these oceans. And even that they're down there, I'm sure that they're very well hidden too. David Wilcock on Above Majestic, he talks about how in ancient India culture, they talk about these huge ships that they uh, they, they drew out, and they're called manas. These manas, they levitated. They looked really big, beautiful buildings, but they were in fact they were described as aircraft, and the aircraft would fly like a ship, and they had particles at the top, and they could fly clean straight through a mountain with no problem. I think that UFOs do have abilities to do this, to actually defy laws of physics, to go to walls and mountains and stuff like that. I think that they don't require sometimes opening, because people are like, well, if they have bases, there should be huge hat stores we should be seeing. You think that beings that have thousands of years of conscious knowledge over us really going to just make it really obvious and make a huge hat store for us? No, they're going to be smarter than that and actually, just fly through something and be where they need to be. Now, what I feel why we haven't had full disclosure yet of UFOs and extraterrestrials is more of because us humans aren't spiritually ready for that. I feel like there would be, when it happens, there's going to be a transformation that's going to happen. No.
Yeah.
I think transformation is just happening, and actually has been happening, already started. And I think we're going through, there's a lot of things happening right now that I feel like are going to get fixed. And when they get fixed, there's going to be a lot of exposure and a lot of disclosure. So I think that's going to kind of collaborate next to it. And I think that's why we haven't been exposed to benevolent entities, because mainstream wants you to be terrified of these things. They want you to think that they're all. So the way if benevolent entities do present themselves, that we would go and try to go at war with them, to attack them.
Yeah.
So we're not spiritually ready, I believe. Some of us, yes, but the whole world, I don't think so. They look at us and we're like, people are killing each other. They're still.
Wait, I'm just going for a quick with.
Oh yeah, go ahead. And I'm going to continue with everybody with this. That there's still, world starvation. There's still people in poverty, people struggling, and there's ways of fixing these problems. But this is part of the low conscious state that they try to create in our planet. And benevolent beings, they're not going to just directly hand over the help to us. We have to learn to help ourselves. Then we receive the help. That's the part of us having a free will as humans, what we've been granted with. Yeah, I definitely know about skinwalkers. They can be pretty disturbing. It's actually they're very dangerous too. None of those around here where I'm at, but it wouldn't surprise me in certain areas in my state though. Spooky, welcome. Mistress, welcome. Thank you for joining. So I definitely have to welcome back, Ryan.
Thank you. Hello again, everybody.
Oh.
It's very warm in here in the kitchen. It's roasting. Because the windows are all closed anyway, because I'm not smoking my cigarettes. So
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm not smoking,
Uh,
so it's okay.
looks like we hit the over the 2 hour mark. So I'm probably gonna go for like another 25 minutes or so.
Hmm.
Um, this device stopped at burning. That's a little disturbing. I'm gonna. You know what's interesting is my hands are not clammy anymore. Things in
Oh,
the environment will change without me really realizing it sometimes. But put this back over here and talk about this. So, Susan said that it was okay. So, trying to think where I left off, where she may have not heard. Um, Ryan, do you remember
yeah.
where I left off just before you left?
Where you left off? No,
Um,
because I went to the restroom there quickly, and then went back in the kitchen. So
Now the static sparks. It's just weird.
that could just be
Yeah,
those. That could be just clearing. Mm. They do
yeah.
tend to do that.
There's a bit of a connection issue that will happen from time to time. A little bit out of our control, unfortunately. Let's see my signal. Shows my signal is going good.
Interfering.
Oh,
Oh,
all right, there we go. That was interesting. All right, do you hear me okay?
yeah, perfectly fine.
Okay, so did that make it any better for everybody? I
It's
made
still the
a
same. It's no problem. It's still the same. So not really good
okay,
about it.
yeah.
Just need to just leave. Can you step away from the screen? It might help. Step away from the phone. Back away with me later on.
uh, so so I know you've been to castles and stuff. Have you been to like graveyards or cemeteries?
Yeah, I've actually been to graveyards, and I've been ghost hunting in graveyards in my paranormal investigations, and I did live stream as well. And it
What's
was
the
good
old
though. So,
yeah?
I did a live
What's the
stream on
old
Instagram because I mainly live stream on Instagram because I can't do it on YouTube yet because I haven't got many followers, like subscribers on there because I won't let me live stream. So,
Oh yeah, for
but
sure.
StreamYard's very glitchy. I can't use that. It's very glitchy and it's rubbish. I
Yeah,
wish I can, but I can't.
yeah. I couldn't quite figure out why. I noticed that I was a bit glitchy on StreamYard too. It didn't come too clear on my end. The
And it keeps
user,
delaying and everything. It's like,
yeah, a friend of mine that was hosting the StreamYard was perfectly clear, but on my end, it just was very laggy for me. So um, I know exactly what you mean. It can be laggy, and I don't know if it requires a specific type of um, equipment or like a computer or some type of um, like power to actually get that and not lag. I'm not sure. I
yeah,
probably don't meet the requirement for it on my device,
yeah. It's good though
but
because I remember it's good as well because I remember with the spirit things, it's to do with the spiritual realm. Like the first dimension, like we're here in the first dimension. And it's like the other spirits, the second dimension is here around the earth. The second dimension is, here around the source of energy. It's around there. And the second one's the third dimension is there. I mean, when the demons roam, it's like around here. And that's how they could come into the earth itself. And the others, it's like they get over the sword and they go in as well and come and
yeah,
visit. And,
yeah. You know, my my theory is with when it comes to why some spirits don't come in clear on images or UFOs come in clear on images with, not being that it's in movement, just it could be perfectly still and still be blurry sometimes, or just not very crystal clear. This usually is caused not because the person handling the camera, actually that entity or the device, ship, or whatever the paranormal phenomenon is happening, is traversing from one density to another density, and this is causing that effect because it's in between two realities. So when something's caught in reality, it's not very clear. It's kind of like, for example, you have radio and you're tuning in a station from another country mixed in with a radio station in your country, and you combine those radio signals together, you're not going to really, it's not going to come in clear. It's going to be all static, words are twisted up. That's basically what happens. Or these UFOs are traversing in our reality for a glimpse of a moment, or for that brief moment, or however long they're in, and disappearing because they're traversing between one reality to another reality, and so they're caught between those two. And I believe that also some of these craft are actually biological devices and also organic. What I mean by that is that the craft is that some of these craft are actually alive and conscious itself. And a lot of insiders that have been abducted explain about inside of this craft and seem very organic, like that, as the craft is alive itself. And insiders that have worked for certain engineers, secret government activity stuff. I'm not gonna really disclose exactly who or what, but I will say that they sit and watch those films. They got Above Majestic, The Cosmic Secret, cover a lot of stuff, and it's very interesting.
And then Warren, those two as well, or the Demon House, they're pretty good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, when it comes to demonology, Demon House is very educational as far as paranormal investigation.
It's very eye-catching.
Yeah, it's very educational when it comes to learning the environment of a situation like that, the effect of what these entities have abilities to do to you. They have abilities to manipulate your organs. They can shut you down. And do you remember that guy, Dr. Taft?
Yes.
What happened to his body? His organs shut down on him in the hospital. And he was explaining that, and he was just baffled by it. He kind of almost chuckles about it. Like, he's like, my organs shut down on me. He was
taking over everything.
You're talking about a guy that's been investigating this stuff since like the 80s, since the early 80s. And nothing like this happened. He's talking about being sick and never going back to a place that made him so sick. But the Demon House, the house was in Indiana, right? Gary, yeah.
And it's Annabelle the doll. She's pretty awesome too.
Yeah, that
Doesn't Zach Biggins have Annabelle? Does Zach Biggins have her?
What's that?
Does Zach Biggins have Annabelle the doll? Does he have Annabelle now, or Zach Biggins?
Oh, the Annabelle doll? Yeah. Zach touched the Annabelle doll. That was pretty.
Yeah, and the Diddy box. I remember the Diddy box as well. How can demons actually come through the Diddy box? How can they literally do that from the original one? Because that's the
Okay,
first original Divi box.
yeah, the Dybbuk box. What about it?
Mhm. Yeah, it's like how can the spirits like literally be in there and come like all? How does it?
Oh, basically, it's just like trapped. The entity doesn't necessarily need to be a demon. Uh, Usually, trapped spirits in like a Dybbuk box are said, like especially like Jewish culture, that
Mm,
you open this Dybbuk box that has the the trap spirit within the Dybbuk box, that bad things would happen, like they would get really sick, die, or do something really, really bad that would cause some type of death. This it is said to cause that death to happen. So something very, very highly unfortunate, it would come to something fatal to happen. In a lot of cases, when it comes to Dybbuk boxes, there's something about it that I haven't quite understood too much yet, because I haven't really dipped into that type of phenomenon really with about Dybbuk boxes. But I know it has something to do with more like a curse situation going on with it.
yeah, it's like the
Is it?
thing is, there's so many out there online which I'm not sure if they're real or not. Half of them be a bit, nothing might really happen at all.
Exactly.
You know, just nothing in the box. Just the person that made it with their own candle, seeing it all around. That'll be simple. But the original was that thing, and C has it. I know there's one dolls on the internet which I've seen on eBay, which they look amazing to get because someone actually bought it. I read the descriptions, the stories about them, and they seem pretty cool on
Oh
eBay. I've
yeah.
seen some good ones, and you get on the doll mystery box, which I like to get some. My girl says, "No, no, no, golden, you're not having any gold, like those old dolls in here." She's like, "No, no, no, no,
Yeah.
don't want to even kick them off." But I like to I
So
like to open a haunted item shop. I like to open a shop, like people can come in and have a look around, buy some stuff, but not haunted items, but just replica versions. Things like that. I like to open a shop like that, like the
oh
replicas.
yeah,
Rock replica doll, and
yeah, for like people to kind of like you're talking about, like kind of like running a museum of artifacts that
yeah,
are
that's
haunted.
what I like to have, like a little gift shop in there, and I like to have all that. But the thing is, like, over here is so expensive to have a place to open a shop. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Somebody,
like if I were to do something like that, okay, all this I got a message. Nice waves. So it went from burning and adultery. Now it's all of a sudden saying nice waves. So it went from some really dark words to
Mhm.
really upbringing words. Very interesting. So wow, that really just kind of really flipped my mind just now. I was not expecting that right now. But about the whole like shop thing, I always kind of wanted to do something like that, but then when I start really looking to what I have, what capabilities of these entities, I could do something like that. I feel like, well, for one, it costs a lot of money to get the
That's true. Yeah.
um, but I would want everything really bound and protected perfectly and organized in the fashion to where they could be displayed publicly without me having to have anxiety of someone being harmed by some of these entities. It just said ease and lead. So
Maybe saying you to leave. You say, no, don't leave. You're not leaving your own
it
house
just said,
over
it, said, it just said ease, lead, and love. So now it's starting to talk about some really, really nice
there.
stuff.
Hippie stuff. Hippie, yeah.
Yeah.
Peace and
Now
love.
we're getting positive words. Let's get positive words. I like the positive words. So let's do
Yeah.
that. So, but yeah, so, you know, I also do plan on doing,
Hmm.
participate in conventions eventually, so that way I could actually maybe display some of these objects at conventions. I want to display a lot of them at once, maybe bring like a couple at a time, just
And leave your
get
favorite ones in the house with you there. Leave your favorite ones there behind with you. Yeah.
right. And
The ones that are
basically,
connected to the other one behind you, they're more connected.
yeah, exactly. And just kind of uh, have a discussion of about the objects, just go basically over like a whole biography of everything that I've rounded up and summed up about the object, and cover the evidences, maybe um, something like that. These are things that I do think about and uh, doing in the near future. Hopefully,
But I
this.
show respect to the objects, so I show respect to a lot of respect to the objects. Because
Yeah.
like you say in your
So,
videos, you still have to show respect. Don't not say anything bad, negative, because someone can come through, and
right.
harm. And
You don't,
because I
you
remember
don't
you're
want
big
to
on this
drag,
on your YouTube as well. Mm.
exactly. You don't want to drag objects into uh, reasons for fame reasons or for money reasons. They know this. If you show signs of greed like that, you could actually suffer a lot of chaotic happenings or
Mhm.
really unfortunate things. These are karma effects that will affect you. So you got that's part of being a paranormal investigator, going out there, doing these things for the right reasons, for in the right intention,
Mhm.
doing these to be famous, to for those kind of reasons. Yes, a lot of people are going to be famous, known for their credibility, for their knowledge, but they're not intentionally doing it for the money,
No,
for it's for the passion and for to
that's it.
share the credibility, to get the story out, to learn about entities, to learn about other, to learn about these other just it's more for knowledge, not for the fame, the fortune. So
Mhm.
those type of intentions that will help you uh, be guided to your ultimate destiny and journey to the paranormal.
Mhm. Yeah, because I always thought about having like haunted objects. Like I only got
Mm-hmm.
one here. Like I showed you the doll,
Mm-hmm.
Gracie. This
Oh,
one
Gracie,
here.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
She's very friendly. She's not, horrible or anything. She's well looked after as well.
oh yeah, oh yeah. I could definitely see that and feel that there's definitely something going on with that object. And a girl, right, is involved with
Yeah,
that. Small girl, yeah, a child. Yeah.
yeah.
That, I remember you telling me about that, and
And
I definitely sense that there's actually that object for sure. Not
she's got
not
the
saying
hair thing here. It's like very thick.
that.
It's like, not real hair though, but it's very thick. It's
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
also
she is friendly though. But some people think she's freaky, and I think she's not freaky. She's friendly. She's not horrible. Because the thing is, I remember when it was Halloween. I remember
yeah,
had her on the window, and she didn't mind for Halloween on the window for display because I displayed her on the window and put her on the window, and then I had the spirit box right back the street where people walking past,
hmm
and when people take the mic, because some people around here, over where I live, most people don't believe in ghosts. People think, oh, they're not real, this and that. Well, they are real, but they're not open-minded. That's the problem. You start being open-minded more and start realizing that when you die, you are a close afterwards, where you born again into a new life. Wherever you choose to be, where
exactly.
your spirit go in there and then be happy and be grateful.
Yeah, very true.
And then for the
Very
spirit
true.
box back with Sleep Gracie, what I did was, and someone was looking at her funny at the window, and she went, "You're cursed." I was like, "Oh, you're cursed," because she doesn't like when people laugh at her. She does not like it because she gets
Oh, she
very
does.
annoyed. Yeah. And sometimes with the
Wow.
spirit box, I remember that evil spirit that used to be here, the evil one, but used to be in this house, what I got rid of, the one that screamed and growled. With that one,
Wow.
I managed to use the spirit box back to sleep, and I hold the doll. It said, "That doll." I was like, "It's a doll. It's not scary. But don't like it." At the time, it's not your house. It's not your doll. You got
Wow.
to say all those things to remind it.
So head right here.
Mm-hmm.
Head.
I've seen quite a few of them in salon shops.
So, so this head right here, I bought as a trigger object. I
Oh,
bought it as a
cool.
trigger object because I was going to take it to a specific location where a victim was beheaded,
Mm-hmm.
and to have it, I was going to set it in an area that was a perfect area for a trigger to the spirits to kind of the murderer itself was involved in the
Oh,
area, that spirit, and he would react to something. So I figured maybe something like this would be a good idea. It even has real human hair, so that would help trigger that. And this was actually the thing about this object, where I feel like this is not really just a trigger object, but I think there might be some activity in this object, is because a lot of, more than one occasion, I go through my books and try to grab a book from time to time of the year. It's just one shelf over my studies, and this object actually animated in front of me, and actually was moving its eyes, just its nose was like moving like
oh,
that.
so that's a haunted face. It's
Hey,
haunted then. Hmm.
yeah, it actually was animating, and
Cool.
yeah, so I feel like there's probably some type of activity in this object. Now, is it the object? This is where I question: is it the object haunted, or is it some of the objects that are involved in this area that are manipulating that object to use it to try to frighten? They could be using
Maybe.
it as a tool,
Possibly. Possibly.
because if you think about it, a lot of paranormal activity involves object, and the object will be manipulated by an invisible entity, or spirit, or whatever. They'll use the object, especially like a toy with a child, to,
Hmm.
to they'll use these objects to either to resemble friendliness, to
Mm-hmm.
resemble terror, and both of these ways, especially with the child involved, it usually starts off with friendliness, even if it's something dark, because it tries to do that to build a trust with the child, so that way the child is comfortable with this entity. Once that child feels comfortable with the entity, then it feels comfortable receiving the information it's getting from the entity, like malice, uh, malice type information.
I just heard something behind me right here. There's something right here, but I didn't touch the ball, so the teddy bear, but I just heard something tap the cupboard. Something tapped
Oh,
it.
oh wow.
So it went like a little tap like this. Like that, and then tap the
Yeah.
cupboard. Right there. I look back
Oh,
as
that's
well.
right
I felt
behind
the
you.
energy behind me. There's energy behind me. I felt it and tapped.
Wow,
There
that's
we
right
go.
behind you. Oh my god, that's pretty
That's
interesting.
interesting.
Oh,
See, I'm not afraid
I,
of it. Just, just show it here. You just got respect. But if it's demon, do not respect it too much.
yeah,
Because then you might
exactly.
feel like it's living at home. If it's a nice spirit that originally owners that lived here beforehand who passed away, that's fine because they used to live in the house and, that's different. You've got to get used to know who they are. If they're a nice family,
Exactly,
that's good. Mm.
exactly. Um, Kind of like even with working with benevolent deities. Uh, Now, just because an entity is benevolent doesn't mean that they won't get angry. All benevolent and malevolent entities have emotions, just like us. They could get
Yeah.
angry if mistreated. If you conjure a angel or a benevolent deity, and you're trying to work with this entity in bad intentional way for power, to power, anything like that,
Mm.
they're not going to be happy with that, and they could screw you up. Okay, they are not going to be one to be used in, low conscious ways. Power, wanting to use an entity for power is technically a form of greed. And
Yeah.
the other thing that's interesting that we could bring up real quick before we close this out is Wendigos. Have you heard of a Wendigo before?
Mm-hmm.
And basically, it said in Native American culture that a person that dies of the that conscious trait of being
Yeah,
greedy,
that's it. Yeah.
that
Mm-hmm.
passed on. I just saw a really dark object just right into my ceiling.
Or just there now.
Yeah, I just saw
Ooh.
like a really dark anomaly just go.
Maybe it's something from one of the dolls. Maybe something's walking around. Maybe it wants to communicate. I'm not too sure. Maybe it
And
might be
the
on a
thing that
stick figure
sucks,
or you can see it. But
the thing that sucks about that is that it was right here where I usually face my cameras. I usually have one here, here. Unfortunately, I have that set up. So I would have caught it. But yeah, there was definitely something right here. I got straight up in the ceiling. Amazing.
that's
Those
good. Maybe
type
it's
of,
going up to your neighbour's. Maybe it's going to your neighbour's place above you.
and you know what? This is. I don't feel any temperature differences, but I definitely saw something shoot up into the ceiling.
Yeah,
That was
because like
good.
some ghosts can be, they can be warm. Some ghosts can be warm or hot or cold at mild temperatures. You know, all different temperatures. Mm.
I'm sticking the device over where I saw it. What? Are you serious?
I see something flickering.
It said until running violent place.
The cupboard,
All
not.
coming up.
This cupboard here, not.
What's
So
that?
maybe it's travelled from my side into your side. Maybe it's gone into your side. Oh, maybe you got one of the demons from the now it's going into your place. Because they can travel
It said
through screens and teleport. Maybe it's gone through my
running
side
violent.
into your side because it's like it knocked the cupboard. So maybe it said plate and then straight to you.
Yeah, that's
How
dude.
bizarre. It's teleporting around the place.
Like the second I put that device right where I saw it, all those words just boom, 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 one after another. Wow. That was a good idea that I did that. I'm not getting anything after that though.
It's always good to do it at the right timing.
Maybe like it ran away. It said violent place though.
Nothing's going up on the K2. But then yeah, must be on your side. It's not mine now, it's on yours.
That's so bizarre, man. Like very interesting. So dude, that completely tripped me out right now because literally the exact spot that I put that device at, those words just popped. How crazy is that?
Very crazy. I just spray protection in the middle of the room there, just my protection spray. I just sprayed my protection spray just in the middle of the kitchen. Just here.
Oh yeah.
Just in the middle.
Mm-hmm. See why I do have to practice my cleansings over here on a daily, weekly to daily basis, and I do have to build that grid quite often because there's a lot of power over here.
Hmm. It's good though, because it's like with ghosts, sometimes they can teleport through someone else's screen. Because it's been very well known, they can, when someone's doing live streams and they tend to have real activity in house, like, it doesn't always happen. Sometimes paranormal does happen, it's not always. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't.
Right.
Sometimes you hear them talking, sometimes you don't hear them talking. It's just one of them and they can show themselves. I was about to talk about this as well. With ghosts, right? When they show themselves to you, but they will not show themselves to other people because they like show themselves to you only, but no one else cannot see them. This. Most people get confused about that. Thinking, how can I see it but no one else can't? Because it's only showing itself to you, but not for everyone else to see it. For them,
Right, because it's projected itself for that individual to see, that individual to be consciously aware to that. Now, really sensitive people that, what I mean by that, by people that are intuitively sensitive, will be able to pick that up along with that individual a little bit easier than another person because they're more conscious, aware. Consciousness is higher because either the knowledge is there or they have been intuitively gifted from birth, or they for many different reasons. But those are the more common reasons that I know why this type of phenomenon does happen, why people are able to see. And especially children, because children are much more sensitive to that for lots of reasons.
Yeah.
But
That's actually interesting.
Yeah.
Because I was always wondering about that, because I never knew the full explanation of that, and you just explained it there, which is pretty good. Now I do understand why they do that as well.
Yeah. No,
it's like some demons don't show themselves, and some demons actually can have a reflection of themselves, I think, in the mirror. They can actually have their own reflection. But sometimes they don't always show themselves because they might scare themselves, because the way they look and the way they are, and they might look all scary. And they don't want to show themselves because they might scare themselves and they scare themselves in the mirror.
Yeah, exactly. I just realized, welcome, Patricia Elaine.
Hi, Patricia. Hi, Nick.
Hello, Nick. Yeah, so I got some pretty good words right here to kind of review. I think it was pretty cool to break this out. Oh, when I got distracted by that anomaly, it goes. So when I was talking about that is that these people that die in Native American culture would say how when a man or woman dies after the effects of their conscious greed to reality can actually cause them to be earthbound as a Wendigo. Now, the question is what is a Wendigo? And that's part of what I'm kind of trying to figure out myself. A lot of different theories of what Wendigos are actually portrayed as far as how they manifest, or are they a cryptid? There's all these different things from a lot of people that I talked to about like what a Wendigo is and anybody and all this stuff. And there's even being said that Wendigos have been known to possess people right off the get-go. Like if you're out there in a place, there's Wendigos going to be possessed. And there's some that even talk about that these entities have conscious ability to materialize our reality in the flesh, and they can actually attack you. They kill you, and they've caused for disappearances in some forests. So there's just things like that.
It's like this native grounds, they do tend to protect their own ground. If you live in a house and it's built on the ground, they think, right, If it's a nice
Yeah.
negative, you won't cause any harm because he's happy with you being happy. And if it's a negative negative, because they always, fight against each other, they always have a bit of bad, good and bad, but the good ones are more better than the bad ones because the bad ones did the dark rituals and the good ones did the white rituals, and they had
Exactly.
more protection of the gods of themselves, the good natures, and the bad ones had the demonic side of them, with like demons
Right.
and like satanic
Yeah.
worshipping. You know what I mean, like that. Like there's a
Yeah.
Pishi, the Pishi cult, the Pishi, them ones as well. A Pishi on them ones.
Hmm. Um, Elementals. They'll
Mm-hmm.
also, based off my research, basically elemental, um, basically would be a spirit that has been, um, basically materialized or manifested, uh, from nature. That nature, depending on, um, there's a lot of intention that is in the environment, that because the environment is consciousness, fully conscious. Trees are fully conscious, and they, depending on how nature has an ability to manifest these things called elementals.
Yeah.
We create them as, and there has been good and bad intention or outcome from elementals in the past. And I've talked to, there's a lot of witches that I've talked to that have, actually done ritualistic ceremonies that involve elements, and a lot of interesting, things that they were talking about, how some elementals that, were some actually, manifested like dancing,
Mm-hmm.
and some of them small in height and some of them big. And have you ever heard of a place called Mount Shasta?
No.
Uh, there's uh, there's this place called Mount Shasta. I actually know someone that does practice, ritualistic ceremonies, and actually goes up to Mount Shasta to do stuff every now and then. She talked to me about how she witnessed over there and how it kind of just gracefully just, ran off. She watched it run off like and skip off. And,
That's interesting. Mm.
yeah, and she described it exactly how the way she described it. I immediately knew, like, that is what you're describing is elemental type, and it was just very very bizarre. But this place would be a lot likely to do that because Mount Shasta that whole place is just a one portal. It's kind of like, uh, you could compare Mount Shasta close to the Bermuda Triangle. There's been people that have went to Mount Shasta and come back completely forgot who they are.
Oh, that's where the pyramid triangle was where the airplanes went to the airplanes and
There's a lot of things that happen in this place, like the Bermuda Triangle, that people will disappear there, or people will come back and not remember who they are, as if like that, like have a conscious awareness of the reality they're in, but they don't remember them being the way they are when they return out from Mount Shasta, as if they're a completely different person, completely different personality. Just
what happens with their passports, identification thing have on them? They look at it thinking, oh, that's my
yeah,
name. Oh.
yeah. And also, a lot of people talk about missing time issues. So there's people that go there. There's a
Time
lot of missing
travel.
time. Yeah, and I think that there's time slips there too that people go into. And they even talk about societies that are otherworldly like, that are there in the mountain. There's huge amounts of UFO activity over there. And a lot of people, the natives go out there and they do a lot of ritual ceremonies, go out there for ritual ceremonies. This is a very spiritual area too, very powerful. And I know a lot of people that go there, they use this area to kind of
to that.
I heard a noise over here. I heard a noise over there. It's all happening now. Right, see if it goes up. No, nothing. The ghost is hiding away from me. They're a nightmare, aren't they? They do play games with you. They do play games saying, oh, I'm right now. Let's play on the seat. Nah, I'm on the move for it.
They like to play tricks. I'm telling you, they do that. And what's funny is I don't know if anybody saw something right here.
Yeah, like a quick shadow figure, like straight quick.
I felt something right here, but I didn't look at the camera while
It happened again. It's by the sink, look. It happened again. Right over there. Right here, right near the sink.
Are you serious?
Right over there. Yeah, right over here by the sink. It happened again.
Oh,
right, and I get up again. It's not doing anything.
Now, what if it's Gracie? Wow. So I set my device. Oh, there you go. So I just set my Ovilus device on the altar. And it just said plant altar. And I set this on my altar.
Yeah.
You see that, Ryan?
Right. Oh, yeah. That's cool. Interesting.
It said plant altar. And I set the device on my altar.
Oh, that's cool. Gracie, if you're here, could you touch the ball, please? That's over by the sink. If you can able to, if there's any other spirits here, if you're a good spirit, can you touch the ball? If you're bad, touch it 3 times. You know, it's always best to say if you're bad, because you know they do the free thing. Because I remember once, right, when I was going live ages ago in here, that kitchen door, right, that's dog's partner's, but he's not alive anymore. That's making his dog's partner's. And the kitchen door literally opened on its own, and I was standing over here. Standing in my live, and I tried to debunk it, but I couldn't debunk it. I was like, okay, but I really, really want to get on live, but I was so quick. I was like, oh, missed it. It's a shame. But next time I'll have it again.
What would be pretty amazing is if that sink turned on by itself. Right? It's sunset fog. Sunset fog. Interesting. The second time I fog, I don't normally ever get the same I did. So that device, that small device, is that a motion sensor device or is it an EMF detector or?
Oh, this one here.
The little one, the little ball.
Oh, that's the cat ball. If the ghost goes near it, if the ghost touches it, it will light up. If someone touches it quite heavy with energy, it'll just light up.
Okay.
Yeah, just lights up. But you have to have it on these. If you have a spare Coca-Cola bottle, just use the lids and put the balls on top so nothing underneath could go to the ball. So you put it there to make it sure it's not, vibration from anything else. So you don't get floating around.
Like a little bottle cap.
Yeah, just use that and put the ball on top. Which that's what I do. Yeah.
So Ryan, I'm gonna have to close this out. My phone is at 5% now.
Okay.
And it's also about to be 5 o'clock. I just realized what time it is.
Over here it's gonna be 1 o'clock in the morning. 1 o'clock.
What time is it over there? 12?
1 o'clock. Nearly 1 o'clock.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's 1 o'clock. Wow. Yeah, that's one of those creepy sounding clocks. Oh wow, it's like you got like it looks like a wizard. Oh, it's a reaper. Okay.
Yeah.
I realized that. It's hard to see because it was a little bit dark, but now I see it. That's an
I
awesome
got that one
box.
as well.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
They're not haunted certified. These are haunted.
So we got some really good stuff here. So I'm gonna review this, and I'll keep you updated, Ryan, about stuff that I get added up on here. If I come up with anything that means anything, either for me or for you or for these objects.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
So,
when the capitals come down, and I'll buy the sprays, then I'll send them off to you. Because I got your
okay.
address and I'll just send them off. And I'll keep the address private. I won't give it to anyone else. I'll just keep it quiet. Give it to nobody
Okay.
else. And I'll give you my number as well. I'll give you my phone number. And then you have my number as well. And give me a ring sometime if you want on WhatsApp. If it's easier for you when you're not busy. And
Yeah. So it's probably gonna be a little while so I could get on live again. Because I got a lot of stuff happening for the next couple of weeks. But I'm gonna
yeah,
reach out to you, Ryan, so we could collaborate again. For the time being, while we're waiting for that live, if you would like, if you have anything that you feel like you missed or need to ask me, document it and let me know on the live. Just hit me up with whatever questions you got for me live.
yeah, okay, no problem. That's all right.
Yeah. And yeah, and let me know if also if you start experiencing stuff that you're not understanding what's going on, let me know.
Oh, well,
Sure.
don't you worry. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining the live, and thank you, Ryan.
You're welcome. And thank you everyone for coming in and watching the live with me and Duran and Animal Souls. And thank you very much to Dead Serious Investigations. Thank you very much. And
Awesome.
for letting me join into the live. And I'll see you next time when you're back on again.
All right,
On to
man.
the next update. Yeah.
Have a good night.
Bye, everybody.
Later.